I was talking about with the telescope thing. I'm like not actually talking about telescope. I'm wanting you to look through this and look at something else. It's like
Yeah, like something specific.
not specific because the specific. Here's the thing: the specific elements you might be able to say is like, let's say I'm trying to get you to see a horizon or something like that. You might be saying, "Oh, there's water. Oh, there's a telescope. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's that." Or it's like all this different stuff. But maybe the telescope isn't the best metaphor in the situation, but it's like,
But the point of it was to see the curve of the Earth or something like that.
yeah, so something larger and sort of you would need to observe the whole to really grasp. And I think I mentioned this earlier. I get in my own way because, like with the TI pinning process, I'm trying to develop the sense of consistency, but in that, I try to pin smaller aspects. And so, I might, I used the term Leviathan earlier, but I think I'll change it. It's like being on a beach and being completely absorbed with a pebble and totally miss the Loch Ness monsters in the water. It's like, I think that's where my TI trips me up, is that I get very much focused on a particular aspect in an attempt to be consistent, that I engage psychologically in ways that are not conducive to being consistent. Or rather, I'm not actually paying attention to the consistencies I want to be paying attention to.
Wait, so what is your my bad, your type?
I'm just retarded. No, probably INFJ at this point, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not good at this. I came around like a couple weeks ago, so I'm like, just learning still. I got a good understanding of it, though. I don't remember all the types.
I think, and yeah, immediately my thought was, oh, this is going to sound condescending in some way, so I'm trying to restructure what I'm saying. I was going to say, I think Audra's been able to keep up fairly well because she's, a bit more well-versed in these areas, and I'm not saying that it's being well-versed is the reason why we're able to communicate. It's that I'm talking about something that, as an ENTP is different from her main way of looking at things, but because she's well-versed in different areas like calculus, as she said, she's been able to grasp some sort of understanding of alternate.
I know, I totally get it. That's why I wish I was here for it instead of trying to recap it all, I'm sorry I derailed it all. Damn it.
Yeah, that's cool.
This y'all got it figured out, it sounds like.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
For the most part. Yeah.
I told Audra, I was like, this is probably the most like exact explanation of what I think about, like talking to her. I was able to make things much more exact than I normally am.
Oh yeah. I probably won't understand it though, because I'm not well versed in that as much at all. I don't know much about math.
I mean, it's like, I don't really know shit about math either, but
She just explained it well.
Yeah, she explained it well, and it also makes me interested now. I'm like, I want to learn more about derivatives now, because it's like beforehand, it's like, if people were trying to teach me in school, I'd be like, why am I trying to learn this? Again, with that gist thing. What is the point? What is it we're trying to get out of learning this thing? And of course, there would be no explanation. It'd be like, well, you need to know this for the future. I'm like, that, what? But it's like, after she says that, then now I'm like, oh, I would actually like to learn more about derivatives, because if this actually ties in with a NI-driven mindset, then I wonder if I'll have some sort of ability to understand derivatives.
Hell yeah, dude. No, I'm actually kind of upset that I missed out on some good intellectual conversation. I mean, it's not like I didn't enjoy the conversations we were having in the first room. It was just, I like good perspectives on intellectual thought.
Yeah.
So one of the interesting things, so now that fellow NTP, do you think of your internal kind of knowledge construct or understanding? Do you think of it kind of as a geometric? Do you think is it kind of almost as a geometric construct? And by that I don't mean constraints to necessarily like traditional 3 dimensions, but vaguely in that way.
I guess kind of sort. I don't know. I'm not really good at the thing is especially that I wasn't good at really thinking about the way I thought about things or anything until I discovered the more intricacy of MBTI. I just heard about it before, but like I've never actually like been good at thinking about that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't know how to explain it as well as probably you would, but
well, because it's just interesting because I was talking to like Ken. He was describing. Is it kind of we ended up actually talking about like the units of storage kind of being in the form of however you would store our main function, bits of it. And so I was talking about like storing things via SI, I suppose, kind of theoretically.
Yeah.
In units of NE. And so it ends up being, but it's always this, I think of it as a pattern. It's this, spider webby, multi-dimensional sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's very kind of
repeating down a particular thing, because Ken was talking about a collection of statements. And then that those collections of statements that were true would lead to other revelations. But I don't
Really?
relate to that at all as
No, I definitely understand what you're talking about now with the geometric shapes and shit. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
I was just saying.
And then you send new information like up through it, and sometimes the new information like tweaks a little bit here, or sometimes it's absorbed, or sometimes it grows something on the outside, and it's eventually growing to be this kind of
for sure. I found that around like heavy TE users, it seems to be for me more self-indulgent to them, like because I don't know, it seems like random things connect, and like it just it's not very pinpointy at all, actually. Yeah. But I wasn't sure the geometric shapes.
About, an interesting concept that Ken brought up that he was talking about, that Neil deGrasse Tyson, but talking about magnitudes of infinity. And I related that. I thought that was a really good way to put it. And concepts like you've got these bits, and sometimes those units of infinity are actually very small. You've actually pared down the possibilities to a very fine point, and those are very strong parts of the structure. But it can be built out of very large units of infinity as well, like of possibility. You don't actually have to narrow down the possibility or know one possibility. You can conceive of and build it out of sets of possibility that are just of a kind of
Mm-hmm. No, and I think that in the world, like significancy of possibilities, like just because you can pinpoint down to a specific more likely possibility doesn't mean the other possibilities aren't significant. It depends on like what you're talking about. If there's like a really detrimental effect that is kind of less likely, like that those possibilities should be explored in a sense. You know what I mean? Like there's
right.
But,
and also I was talking about like the concept of magnitudes of almost known quantities of unknownness. So like you can be like, which is again the same sort of thing as possible without actually being able to pin down the particular possibilities, having some sort of magnitudal concept of how much unknown or possibility is there.
I definitely get that. Yeah. It's like you can get the general assumption though. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's just like
there's a lot in there. Yeah, like it's a
and it's there, and you kind of know where it fits in things. You just don't actually have to know the specifics in order for you to balance, in order for it to connect to other things and actually be useful within the structure or whatever.
Yeah, I found like SI is like I don't know how to explain it all perfectly, but like just like if you learn the specifics, you don't have to learn the specifics again in a way. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's just learning the certain specifics to get the concept to understand all the possibilities available.
But you don't store the specifics or the concept that learning the specifics built.
in reference to the specifics
derive
learned.
specifics at any time, and you can at that point derive other specifics that you didn't originally learn. Is what's the cool like counter effect of that, I think.
Exactly.
In reference to the specifics you were talking about, what was that again? I thought you mentioned something in particular that you would use that in reference to. And,
I was thinking SI, but I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I was just saying because
I thought it was something else. Like you mentioned something not function related. It was like maybe it was mathematics or something.
Oh no, I was just saying in general things.
Okay.
You know, just in things.
Probably that it might be SE. It might be taking SE stuff through NE and kind of. I don't know, or just filtering things through that NE SI to even the concrete knowledge or whatever. I don't know. But I think it gets temporarily stored in SI.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's where the storage is. It's like the past of like, okay, I get that concept.
You collect some stuff, and then it like pops up. You're like, oh, now we've built the pattern, and so it just like dumps all the rest of that out. Flushes itself. Which almost sounds like you're getting a gist of a thing, but it's different than I think the sorts of gists that Mr. NI gets.
Yeah, it's been hard for me to understand. I've been trying to understand this a lot, but I've never. I don't know.
Yeah,
I never thought to explain myself and how I think.
Than I did, because NI has been very mysterious to me, but talking to Ken has really.
Yeah.
I need to hear it more.
Yeah.
See, now, here's the thing. It's just like the other day, Courtney was like, Ken, can you explain NI to me? And I was fucking drawing a blank. Because it's something about the point blank nature of it that it's like anti-gist. It's like so much of what I do is like I gotta happen upon it. And I'm like, oh, that's the thing I was looking for. Like I really need a better way of happening upon what it is that I'm trying to talk about.
I found a lot of explanations of NI to be still very confusing to me.
Right.
I just know they often say prophetic sort of things.
Yeah, well, my initial hypothesis actually plays pretty close to what it's still pretty close to what kind of seem to be talking about, but as a making patterns rather than seeing patterns or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's still different, but it's
I heard it was kind of like and he's like, looking for possibilities and better ways to find possibilities, while NI is more focused on the most likely-ish possibilities or the
it's like reducing that it's
and the possibilities within that
other end of that web or something like that.
Yeah, it's very much. I wish I was here for that conversation because you guys probably understand the way that you probably understand way better.
Almost on the same construct, kind of abstract, but it's pointed in the other direction. And so they're kind of something possible. Anyway, yeah. But I have a better idea of the shape of it now, I think.
Damn, I need to do that.
See, I feel like because you got all these different informational sort of information elements sort of absorbing all this different information, that it's like that you have like the ones that are your more dominant skew or like preference. It's like even in this, like as Alger was saying, like in trying to understand like the other form. What was I going to say? It's like in trying to understand the other one. I don't know. I could complete that sentence and have it make sense, but it wouldn't be what I'm talking about. I could be like, oh yeah, you learned something from that, but that's not what I wanted to say.
Damn it.
Yeah, I was trying to allude to something that happens often. It's something to the degree of what it is that we're seeking. I think chronically and to our benefit isn't exactly what we get. So like if you're very much looking for an NISE approach to things, you're inevitably going to get NI related information. And like in Audra's case,